So the first part of the gutter growth system is put together. I filled it with water, checked for leaks, and make sure that the water level is good in all the cups, even all the way down to the end. And then I made sure that the rain gutter itself is leveled. So everything is pretty much in place. And tomorrow I'll be getting my float valves. I'm going to mount here, which will maintain the water level automatically. And then that'll be pretty much it for this. Okay guys, so I'm getting ready to start on this bucket. Crazy story while we're walking is that I had got this, ordered one of those valves for the bucket that you use to, it's a barb. It's basically like a rain barrel valve that allows the water to come out of your valve. And I ordered this thing off of eBay. Hang on a second. You know, it's hard when you're doing this by yourself. But I ordered this thing, and for some reason, I can't get it out of here. Stand by. I ordered this thing out of eBay, like I was saying, before we were really interrupted. And this thing was just, it was just horrible. Now, I'm going to use this because this is all that I have. And I'm going to mount this in the bucket, and this will allow me to hook up a water hose and or whatever I want to this, which will connect to the rain gutter growth system so that we can keep our nutrients supplied to our plants. Now, you got to be careful with these things. You can get these on eBay all day long. This was just a 3/4 rain barrel valve, but the one they sent me clearly was for another country somewhere, because this thing is a reverse thread, and then this is super huge. So now I got to make this hole to go through the bucket, when generally you can buy these with just a 3/4. You drill your hole through, put your washer and your gasket on the back, and you're done. But this is a 2-piece deal where you got to you screw this piece here in first. Again, apologies. I promise you I will get better with this once I can get all my gear set up. I do have other cameras and stuff that I'm going to utilize. But moving right along, this here basically screws in, and then this guy screws into that. So you'll see when I'm done here. I'm not going to film too much cutting in and all that, you know, making the holes, but it's pretty straightforward. Get your, you know, proper hole saw size and go for what you know. But in this case, I'm just going to go ahead and make the hole here. I'm going to use this, but again, I wouldn't generally use this. I would order a different valve setup. So this is going to be a little fun because my hole saw is just a slight, I believe, smaller, which is kind of what you want when you're making a hole when you don't really have the right size you need. You didn't hear that from me, but yeah. I mean, I have it, but you know, my tools for some reason grow legs. So I'm going to Dremel it out, but I'm going to use this guy, make the hole for this big old whatever here. And it's just slightly, you know, off. And then I'm going to use my Dremel hole to hone it out. I'll get that footage for you if you guys really want to see it. I'll get it.
2,000 years later.
Hopefully we've got the right size or close to it. If not, I just ruined the bucket. Oh, look at that. Perfect size to the point where it almost just simply screws in. Oh man, I love it when a plan comes together. And I didn't even have to use the Dremel tool. I wasn't really sure about that size, but it's perfect. I mean, literally perfect. So we just put our gasket in here, and you can see what I was talking about. This thing is reverse. Hate it. So once we get that going, I may or may not put some Teflon on the side of that. We'll see. Now these are pretty cool because they like twist off and whatnot. So if I can hold it. Okay. Bingo. And then we'll clean this guy out. And the ideal here is that this will go inside here, and it will twist. We will tighten this guy. I'm just not sure how perfect it's going to be, but I think we're going to get it pretty close. There it is. I just got to get my spanner wrench there and get it in there. Then we'll clean this bucket out and get it ready and prepped for our solution here. And then we'll simply just screw that guy in there. And we will put Teflon on this guy. It's definitely righty-tighty that way for this one. And hell, I might not even need. It stopped right there. Might be leaving that on there. So I'm gonna get my spanner and tighten this guy down, and just wanted to give you guys the idea of how that's going to go. And then we're going to stack these two piles, and it'll be a gravity fed system where it'll flow down and keep our rain gutters full. All right guys, so the system here is done. This is what I got. So basically everything's in place. Our float valve is actually in and is actually doing a little dripping because I took some water out of the system. But the float valve is in place here. And you see if you push it down, it'll let water in. And it'll stop. And here's our hose. Here's our valve. We can shut that off. And this is still about half full, and it completely filled this 10-foot rain gutter up. So this tells me that we will be able to supply at least 2 of these off of one to keep them topped off. However, I'm going to use 1 per, because you want to have overkill more than just enough. So we don't want to be at borderline, but essentially I could, even if I downsized the system a little bit, made them, you know, half the size. Then if we're gonna go half the size, then obviously we want to make 2 rain barrels, but you know, that's I mean, nutrient barrels, not rain barrels. Here's our bags. I'm going to use these grow bags for our situation, and then I simply placed a 3-inch net cup in this particular one. Now these are all 2.5-2 inch net cups, a little over 2 inch, but this one here is a 3 inch, because I had a 3 inch pot that I cut a hole in, and I want to be able to utilize that pot. Now the rest of the ones I'm going to build are going to be more than likely all 2 inch, but you know, that'll be for another story. But I'll show you what the bottom of this looks like. So here is our cup through the bag. And that's how we wick. And it does have like a little, I put a little netting over the bag just to keep the roots from growing through the media, if you will. So that's pretty much how that's going to work. And that, my friends, is a simple rain gutter setup.